How much energy would it require to destroy the Earth? I think first we'd have to establish what we define as destroying. Is it ending the modern civilization? Is it vaporizing all life on Earth? Or do we go all the way and say it's ripping the Earth apart? Well, let's figure out how to end modern civilization. The destruction of the modern civilization as we know it is surprisingly easy, maybe even too easy. Just one of the submarines in America's Triton fleet carries 20 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and each missile carries 8 independently targetable H-bombs. Comes out to a total of 160 hydrogen bombs. If those were launched at the world's capital cities, this single submarine would probably be able to destroy modern civilization as we know it. What's really messed up about this is America has 14 of these Triton submarines, Britain has 4 of a little smaller class, and Russia and a few other nations also have similar submarines. So I think we've established that ending modern civilization is not a very hard task. But what about something like vaporizing all life on Earth? Even if we were to drop every single nuclear bomb, we wouldn't be able to wipe out all life. Life is a pesky little thing and would require a lot more energy. The only feasible way to achieve this would be something interstellar. It would require dropping something like the size of Sirius into Earth. Sirius is a dwarf planet in the asteroid belt between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Sirius has the mass of about 9 times 10 to the 20th kilograms and is moving at 11.18 kilometers per second. From that we can figure out the kinetic energy. The energy amounts to 5.6 times 10 to the 28th joules. While this is an absurd amount of energy, just to put this in perspective, the sun outputs the same amount of energy every 2.5 minutes. There's a small problem with having Sirius crashing into the Earth. It would require an enormous amount of energy to changing Sirius' orbit from a circular one to one that intercepts Earth. It's been estimated that you need 4 times 10 to the power 27 joules, or 9.5 times 10 to the power 17 tons of TNT, to move Sirius out of its circular orbit, and that's equal to 19 billion Tsar bombers, which is the biggest nuclear bomb to have ever been tested. So at least for the nearest future, you won't have to worry about any terrorist organization planning on putting Sirius on a collision course with Earth. What if we want to take this a step further though, and just rip the Earth apart? Seemingly absurd, this is actually something we can calculate. To be able to rip the Earth apart, you would have to consider the gravitational self-energy of Earth. That's the energy it would take to pull it apart, assuming that only gravity is holding it together, which is more or less true. The formula for gravitational self-energy of a uniform sphere is as follows. G stands for the gravitational constant, and m stands for the mass of the Earth, and r of course is the radius of the Earth. If we just plot in those numbers, we'll see it comes out to 224 nonillion joules. The exact number would be somewhat more though. For one thing, Earth is not completely uniform because it gets a lot denser the deeper you go, and it does have some binding energy from electromagnetic force and not just a gravitational one. And while these factors increase the number, it wouldn't be by a whole lot, and calculations would be really tough, so let's just ignore them. So, I hope that helped you with your mischievous master plan to take over the world. Remember to like and subscribe.